Documents detail plan for civil unrest and martial law in Baltimore. Leaked documents purport to show, and now they're confirmed, detailed plan to trigger nationwide unrest, allowing Obama to declare martial law. And that's what we surmised at the time, because the Justice Department got caught in Florida, in Maryland, and all over financing. And if you scroll down to the documents, it explains how they basically fund people, how they train as actors. Doesn't mean they're actors in the street, but that's what the police, even in training, call it. Your role is this, your role is that. And you've got their action, BW 10418, 2015. Final operation order summary, Friends of Democracy. Confidential. And then it's the Soros group, his son, Alexander, and family quarterbacking it. And those are real documents. They never said they weren't. We made phone calls, called the FBI, you name it, and they said, no, those are real documents. And people are just waiting for Trump to move against them on stuff like that. It's incredible. I'm going to be announcing 2 lawsuits next week against enemies of the Republic, enemies of free speech, and then 8 more in the next month after that. So all you folks that sent me letters asking for money, you're going to get sued for big money. We're coming after you. We're going to win. So all you folks licking your lips out there that got induced to sign on to all these fake lawsuits against us, we've had all the top law firms look at it. Even the Daily Beast says this is very dangerous for the Democrats, and they've opened themselves up to millions in real damages. So, bon appetit. You think you're going to destroy our First Amendment? Get ready. I'm not some knuckle dragger looking for money and not looking for a fight. I'm looking to defend the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and the whole 9 yards. So you want to fight? Better believe you got one. You know, playing that George Soros clip last segment of him talking about how much he enjoyed rounding up Jews and how invigorating it was and how it formed his character because it was so dangerous. That's why he's so ruthless and crazy. If you're 14, 15, 16, and then not just during the Nazi occupation, but after they were involved when the Soviets came in and all that corruption, making hundreds of millions of dollars, involved in different scams and different criminal activities, and then you do it all over Europe and all over America, and you're involved in every form of corruption under the sun. He was known as a supervillain in the 1980s when my mom would watch Lair NewsHour. George Soros attempted to crash the pound today. George Soros attempted to crash the Argentinian. George Soros successfully crashed this, causing millions to go bankrupt. I mean, there are countries that never recovered after him. And by the mid-90s, it was like, controversial figure, George Soros. But by the 2000s, the angel, the baby cake, the sweetie pie. And that's what's crazy is CNN, MSNBC, the young turds, all of it. Why, George Soros doesn't fund any Antifa. And we have all the documents where his son running an organization funds them to riot. Can we pull that article up? Documents Obama planned civil emergency in Maryland, martial law, and then it's the Soros group, his son, Alexander, and family quarterbacking it. And those are real documents. They never said they weren't. We made phone calls, called the FBI, you name it, and they said, no, those are real documents. And people are just waiting for Trump to move against them on stuff like that. It's incredible. Can we pull that article up? What was the exact headline? It was, I think it was Don Salazar wrote the article. There's a video I did on it. Soros funded Antifa in Maryland. Soros funded plans for riots in Maryland. Soros planned to trigger civil war caused by race riots. And it's got 20-something pages of the documents, how they work with the police, the whole thing. I bet I can find it. Got to click web to find it, though. Let's go to a clip while we find that. Let's go ahead and, there it is. Oh, thank God. Oh, I'm so OCD now. Oh, I had to have it. Thank you. Oh, good. It used to be OCD. I've developed it when it comes to documents and articles. Great job, crew. Documents detail plan for civil unrest and martial law in Baltimore. Leaked documents purport to show, and now they're confirmed, detailed plan to trigger nationwide unrest, allowing Obama to declare martial law. And that's what we surmised at the time, because the Justice Department got caught in Florida, in Maryland, and all over financing. And if you scroll down to the documents, it explains how they basically fund people, how they train as actors. Doesn't mean they're actors in the street, but that's what the police even in training call it. Your role is this, your role is that. And you've got their action BW 10418 2015. Final operation order summary, Friends of Democracy, confidential. And the brother of this other guy's brother that ended up in some trouble gave us the documents. And folks, if you've got family that's been in Antifa and they're in prison or they committed suicide or whatever, or drug overdose, it is critical that you get those documents and mail them to us, because that's why they fear InfoWars and want it taken down. We get the right documents, it could blow the Death Star. I mean, they know. They sit there every day with sweat running down their foreheads, knowing that I'm sitting here with sweat running down my forehead, not because I'm nervous, but because I'm so fired up half the time that I start sweating in here when it's 68 degrees. By the way, I can be sitting in the hot sun and barely sweat. But when my brain starts going, I get in a very aggressive mode and start sweating, because this is real. And I sit here and I start looking at the things they've done, the things they've been involved in. It makes me angry. So we need to have a new article about how those documents are confirmed, media blackout on that, media blackout on David Hogg almost a week later, and him wanting billions to die. I mean, this is sensational information. All right, when we come back, it's top linked on drudgereport.com. 6 workers to expose politicians for passing anti-trafficking bill. I will also look at what's really in the WikiLeaks. They always distract us with who leaked them. And they always make that the big issue and all this garbage that Roger Stone's a Russian agent. But let's kind of look back at what's in the WikiLeaks. And then video. It's up on Infowars.com. Deranged Texas councilwoman in Houston charged for verbally attacking teenage girl in Trump shirt, disturbing his peace, screaming, yelling, frothing. And this is what happens when you wear a Trump shirt, and now it's expanding to pro-gun shirts. Well, I'm not letting these people intimidate me. I think it's more important people start wearing Make America Great shirts, InfoWars shirts, will get you the same thing in these areas. And then we go around in groups just to let them know, just like open carry, that we're not going to be intimidated by their deranged activity. So that's a Steve Watson article. That's coming up. All right. First off, though, we have some huge announcements that are very, very exciting. These specials are all about to end. Alpha Power back in stock, 25% off. Premium InfoWars Life, select high-quality storable foods, $100 off the 4-week supply. No one can top that. Mind and Body Challenge Pack, Brain Force Plus and Red Pill. They still haven't gotten rid of that special. That's got to go. So we're selling out of both those. That's 50% off and free shipping. Cell Force, 50% off. That's about to end. Body Ease, Ultimate Turmeric Formula, 25% off, back in stock. Immune Gargle, we now don't just have the 1 ounce. We have 3.4 and 16-ounce bottles together. 50% off, or individually, 25% off. Alexa Pure Breeze, $50 off. Double Patriot Points. That's the big one until the end of the month. Normally it's 5%, just like frequent flyer miles, anything you buy. It's free to sign up at InfoWarsStore.com. You have your own account. It's 5% off all the other specials. But this month, to celebrate Patriots Day coming up on the 16th, throughout the rest of the month of April, Tim Ferget just thought of this yesterday, we are going to give you double Patriot Points. That's 10% off. So you sign up for auto ship for like coffee or supplements, things you're going to be reordering, and you get an additional 10% off. That's 20% off. And then you've got all the other specials. A lot of things become lost leaders when you use the Patriot Points, especially this month when they're double, 10% off your future purchase. So if something cost, $10, that's going to be $1 off of the next purchase with the Patriot Points. It's amazing. Free shipping, $50 or more, InfoWarsStore.com, and you stand up to Nazi collaborator, bully dirtbags like George Soros. Damn him to hell.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Gonna hit me? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Hear you. You're a fucking anti-American.
I'm an anti-American?
Yeah.
You stupid bastard. I'm a patriot. I think we should classify them as a gang. You know, they come dressed in uniforms, they have weapons, they're almost a militia. I think we need to think about that in terms of our law enforcement approach.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
Wait, on many sides? This was a white nationalist rally. You have to call that out by name.
Many sides? Mr. President, this is terrorism, not your order at KFC.
Prior to the unrest, police banned sticks, masks, and any other potential weapons. However, dozens of anti-fascist protesters broke those rules, it appears. They also pepper sprayed the leader of the Conservative group. One left-wing demonstrator attacked a photographer, and others reportedly threatened people who were trying to film the violence.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
Let
me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do.
And they are just beating people, ganging up, men and women, ganging up on lone individuals and just beating them in a wanton, savage, brown shirt Nazi operation.
They don't want to mention Antifa and how Antifa literally came trained, militarized, doing warlike maneuvers. You know, they bring coolers and you think, oh, it's to stay hydrated. No, it's filled with water balloons, filled with feces, urine, just disgusting things that will pop and explode on people. And water bottles filled with the same substances.
Chill out. Stop filming it. I don't like being filmed.
Then leave.
Yeah, he just got struck with pepper spray. By some irrational...
a liberal helping him. We're not all like this.
No, you see, the guy that attacked him is not a liberal. He's a Marxist.
Every time one of these situations happens, you know, you see the worst of people sometimes. I think we saw it out of the left.
You just saw those videos of them chasing and beating people in black clothing, black masks. Over 100 of them broke through the lines and attacked stragglers who were there. For the most part, the event was shut down. They couldn't find enough conservatives, so they started attacking the police after a while. But you saw them beating the conservatives, even as they come in carrying no hate signs. And the mayor said they made sure the themes of love and compassion dominated over hate speech.
Nazi go home! Nazi go home! Nazi go home!
Supporters of President Donald Trump were vastly outnumbered by counter-protesters at Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center Park.
But then we saw that group with the masks on. They had their own, shields that they made, for lack of a better term. A huge crowd there now.
And while we certainly don't know, and we'll try to find out, some of those protesters, the ones that showed up with the masks and the shields, may do this in other locations. They may be what you call professional protesters who do this a lot.
That's an American flag that they have set on fire.
This Trump supporter was the first casualty of the day, with blood streaming out of his face.
Well, they wanted to hit me with brass knuckles on the blind side. We're here for free speech.
A mob chased him for a block and a half, took his flag, Trump hat, and glasses, and spat all over him.
You know, I'm okay with people making white supremacists feel unwelcome. I mean, excuse me, like, you're making me feel unsafe in my own country because I'm a Jew.
Listen, everyone said, oh yeah, you can't listen to CNN no more. You can't listen to the news anymore because it's all fake. Bull crap. It wasn't fake before, so why is it fake now?
The Russia story has kind of died down on those sites.
Only because we're on the racism thing now.
You know, I've got some talking points here about Caveman from InfoWarsLife.com. But instead of going with those talking points, let me just give you what I've experienced personally. From all the wives' tales in every culture, we know that the bones have the essence. We know chicken noodle soup is great for people that are sick. Again, in every culture, this has been reported because it works. And there's no way to quantify how strong this is, but the amount of bone protein and the amount of marrow and the amount of concentrated life force that is in this is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it's for your joints, whether it's for your arteries and your veins, whether it's for your brain, whether it's for energy, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the strongest, most concentrated bone broth formula out there, and it's amazing. Find out for yourself today at InfoWarsStore.com what it can do for you and your family. And again, I want to thank you all for your support. You are funding the information war in 2018.